Danette, editor, speaking on behalf of the Animal Justice Party. So I'll just add a couple of key points from our written submission. So firstly, the Animal Justice Party opposes the exploitation of marine animals. Fish are sentient beings, not commodities, not quota units, and not simply economic outputs. But even putting aside our position for a moment, this bill fails on its own stated goals of sustainability, responsible management, and maintaining public confidence in the system. But honestly, when reading this bill, it feels like we are arguing over whether we should be bad or really bad. Because if we take a step back and look at the actual crisis facing our oceans, the conversation we would be having is quite different. So globally, marine ecosystems are under enormous pressure. Fish populations are declining, seabeds are being destroyed, oceans have warmed, and countless marine animals are killed by bycatch every year. Bottom trawling alone destroys fragile seabed habitats and can take decades to recover, if ever. So in the middle of this ocean crisis, why are we debating legislation that weakens oversight, reduces transparency, increases ministerial direction, and entrenches destructive fishing practices? Why are we making accountability harder instead of stronger? Now, we do understand the arguments that have been made in support of this bill. We understand the desire for efficiency, flexibility, operational certainty, and reducing unnecessary bureaucracy. These are reasonable goals, but the proposed solutions will not work. They come at a cost, and that cost is simply too high. The cost is reduced transparency and accountability, which leads to oversight, which results in, weaker oversight, which results in greater environmental risk and continued harm to marine animals and ecosystems under that already immense pressure. So in the middle of this ocean crisis, New Zealand should not be pulling these levers with these different consequences. We should be asking, how can we do better? Better protection, enforcement, transparency, most importantly, better outcomes for marine life, because modernization should mean progress, definitely not making exploitation more efficient. So I'll just note that fish are the most exploited animals on the planet. Billions are killed every year through different methods, often involving prolonged suffering, suffocation, crushing, decompression injuries, being cut open by conscious, or slowly dying in nets. And science has moved well beyond the outdated idea that fish do not feel pain. So there is significant scientific evidence that fish are sentient beings capable of experiencing pain, fear, stress, and suffering. Fish have reception, so that they can feel pain, pain receptors. They change behavior after injury. They learn to avoid painful experiences, and they are highly adaptive, intelligent, and socially complex. So they can learn, they can remember, they can navigate thousands of kilometers. They can recognize individuals and change their behavior based on experience. And some even show cooperative and problem-solving behaviors that rival other well-known intelligent species. So the reason why I say all of this is because despite all the discussion in this bill about management systems and operational flexibility, there is absolutely nothing in here that meaningfully improves the outcomes for the animals at the centre of this industry. Now, on transparency, we strongly oppose the proposed restrictions around camera footage and OIA access. Frankly, I do not think that fish mind if cameras are operating. And for all those working, well, many New Zealanders work in workplaces with cameras, monitoring systems, audits, and reporting requirements, and we accept transparency in countless industries where there are public interests at stake. So why should fishing be treated differently? What exactly is there to hide? Because if the system is operating responsibly, transparently, and sustainably, then independent scrutiny should not be feared. Electronic monitoring is one of the few tools the public has to verify what is actually happening at sea, including bycatch dumping and compliance with the rules. Removing public access undermines trust, weakens accountability at the exact time we should be strengthening it. And finally, rules without enforcement are meaningless. So we can have laws written on paper, but if there is weak monitoring, reduced oversight, and reliance on voluntary measures, then those laws do become performative. It would be like setting speed limits on roads, but removing the speeding camera, reducing policing, and simply trusting everybody to do the right thing. That's not how effective regulation works. So, for these reasons and many more, the Animal Justice Party does urge this committee to reject the bill in its current form, or at the very least, undertake substantial amendments to strengthen transparency, environmental protections, accountability, treaty alignment, and to finally begin addressing the destructive fishing practices such as bottom trawling. Kia ora, thank you for your time.